Hello, fellow traders. 'Tis I, the Rumpled One. It is Wednesday, December the 27th, the year 2017. Let's talk trading. More price action. I think I mentioned yesterday that I was watching some other traders' videos because, hey, I might learn something. And what I'm learning is it's really hard to beat the simple price action of a horizontal line or this using the simple tools of horizontal line and the price action of the turn trade. The turn trade, along with say the highest open lowest open, is almost going to get you in those type of trades much quicker than those almost any other method out there. It's just that simple. I can watch these guys, these supply resistance dudes, these supply and demand, support and resistance, and they draw these zones and everything. But just using the price action of the turn trade, you're just going to beat them every time. And of course, money and risk management is important. And we'll bring up the weekly chart here. And as we can see, once again, we've had some really nice horizontal line trades. If you were trading, you had the weekly midpoint cross, the weekly last week's close crossover into that upper wick zone, upper weekly wick zone. We'll get into the wick zone later. And you can see here, taking the weekly open, the distance. Oh, you can see the pound franc is right around that weekly open. So there's a trade, possible trade there. Same with the Euro GBP. And you can see it's in the upper wick zone there. And that's about it there. So we'll drop down to the daily chart. And once again, you can see it's the Swiss yen is in the upper wick zone. And I think I need to click on the charts because I had to do some rebuilding this morning. Okay. And you can see we don't have any ranges over 100. The yen is, look at that, only 22 pip range. Then again, it is the last week of the year here. But we've got some nice ranges on a few of these others. And the simple buy zone trade. Let's see, here you got some pips. Here you may have gotten stopped out. But then again, here, there. Once again, overall, it's a winner. Simple buy zone. And you can see here, red, green, breaks that high in the zone. And once again, we're using the Swiss yen this week. This is a pair I don't trade. But just to show you how these methods work, doesn't matter the pair. You can see a nice bottom here. You can see a turn trade breaking that high right there. Rat reversal clicks you in right there. And once again, pips in your pocket. For the pivot point traders, you can see here it almost hit the daily pivot. So if you faded, you picked up maybe 10 pips, 9 pips on that fade right there. Price comes back, tells you to take your money off the table. Pivot point fade, pivot open. If the open is above the pivot, you fade short. If the open is below the pivot, you fade to the long side. We've got a future pivot point right here, 114.55. So if this was the end of the market, this would be the pivot. Once again, simple price action, higher highs, lower lows, higher lows, lower highs. This is telling you, you can see all the red, which way price is moving. Price action. Training wheels is telling you to sell. Simple, simple, simple. Keeping it simple. Once again, just using yesterday's high, close, midpoint, open, and low, because it looks like it was right there at the bottom. You can see here we're just going to take the trade in the direction of the horizontal line. When price crosses that horizontal line right there, nothing fancy. Oh, and for those wondering about these stars, that's my little, I call it TRO spread dots, because I don't like seeing that line come across through my dashboard. And so you can, with this, you can have the price boxes on, the price markers if you want them over here. You can put the ask and the bid either on the left or the right, and you can also have the bid and ask lines showing too. And that's in the mother load. I think I'm going to put that in the updated mother load. Oh, that's interesting. I wonder why that line is flashing like that. I think, okay, what do we have here? Okay, only show near. I thought maybe that was turned on. Okay, moving on into the wick zone. And as you can see, it shot up through the wick zone. So right there was your entry. Let me spread that out a bit. Let's see, we had a high of 75. So that was good for 10 or 11 pips. And you can see right here we're coming back into it. Now people would say, well, if you got in here, how do you know when to take your money? Well, there's a couple of clues. Right there, it did make a higher high. So possibly it is time to exit. But you're saying, well, you got to give the trade some time. Well, you see here it's falling through that high. Maybe it's time to take your money off the table right there. Or you can probably see it fell through the previous candle's midpoint. So maybe that's a good time to take the money off the table. And you can always go up to the H1 time frame. It was turning against you there. So once again, that's kind of a, to me it's simple to see when to take the money. It made a new high. Sellers pushed it back down through that point. You take the meat of the trade right there. Of course, yeah, price could have come back down and turned up, but price could, anything can happen. And you see here the holo zone, the highest open right there. It's the highest H1 open. Price tried to come up, came back down. There is your trigger, short at 70, price is at 59. Oh, let me show you guys how to do that, just in case you're wondering. Okay, here you go. You click on properties, or you could just hit the F8 key. You see this grid, that's that light slate gray color. You put none and it goes away. It's that simple. And you can see you've got over there. Then you can load up the spread dots. Okay, trade reminder. It's just reminding me things I should be looking at. inside the upper wick zone. Monthly, the price is turning up. You can see you got a green candle. Buyers are in strong control on the month. D1, buyers strong control. Right there. You can see that. And that's the pivot of the previous candle, and that is the midpoint. And so one of my rules of thumb, or something I look for, if price opens below the midpoint, I'm looking to exit the trade if I'm long, or I'm looking to go short. Very simple price action. And actually, let's see, got so many charts here. Price action, once again, red, green, broke the low of the red, you go short. At the bottom, red, green, breaks the high of the green. Now, one of the things I've been working with lately is the last red candle, last green candle. And I'm finding that it is a very profitable trade, especially if you're scalping. You can see here the break of that last red candle and the break of the last green candle. You can see it within a pip. So price is telling you, hey, I'm not making a new high. So you look here, people talk about things like structure and market profile, and they'll be analyzing it. And usually when they do things like that, they'll have, and so maybe they're looking up here and possibly here. And so they would analyze and say, well, you see here, it's making a higher high, so we should expect a higher low, and then price should go up. And I'm saying, and then they'll draw some zones or something, and I'm just going to say, well, you know, I'll just take my simple last green candle, red candle, and I'll look at it. Oh, this is a green candle here. Well, it's white on my chart, but it's showing that price went up, right? And so, but price broke that low right there. It didn't make a higher high. It's making a lower low. Let's get in the trade. Very simple stuff. It's just price action. So they might draw all these different zones talking about, you know, what price is doing, etc. But the point is that this is just really simple stuff. Doesn't require a whole lot of esoteric analysis. I mean, really, you see you got a higher high, and then here you had, not sure what happened on that day, yesterday. Oh, that was the weekly open, I believe. That's what that was. So you see here, you know, price is going this way. They could say the trend is down, blah, blah, blah. But, and then they'll say, well, maybe here you've got this zone here, and you see it came here and went up and came here and went up. Well, I don't need that zone. All I need is to look at the candles saying, okay, we've got price coming down. We've got a black candle. We got a break right here. Price is making what? Higher lows. So price is talking right here. They put in a nice low. Buyers pushed it back. Sellers pushed it back. Couldn't push it all the way back. You have a break there. You took a little heat maybe, but then you got the payoff. And once again, when do you get out? Well, simple. Fails to make a new high, lower high, comes back down, comes through the midpoint. Take your money off the table if you don't take it off sooner. So, fellow traders, I hope that helps. And as always, it's not what you trade, it's how you trade it. The Rumpled One signing off to go drain the banks.